How much do you want a rematch with Kell Brook? That's the only guy that you've lost to. He has a title, you have a title. Is that something you and your team are going to sit and think about? Maybe going to Europe for big money and chance to get back, revenge against him?
You know what? We've moved on from that fight. Me personally, it's a fight that I will always want, just because, like you said, he's the only guy that beat me. I need to prove that, he beat me that night, but he'll never beat me again, But at the same time, looking at this business realistically, he's over in England. He's not saying my name. He's taking on English competition. I let him handle that. If I wake up and he's knocking on my door saying, "Hey, we're going to England in a month," we're going to England in a month. No questions asked. This is not our problem. This is his problem. You make the fight, and we'll be there.
How hard was it for both of you guys to refocus after that loss and to come right back and perform the way you had?
I really don't think it was hard. We didn't have any problems in camp from that fight. We didn't have any times we argued or bickered or anything about anything that went on in that fight. We watched that fight. We corrected a lot of what was going on. Continued to try to make everything right before each fight. So it wasn't hard for me.
How did you keep from not having a title be a focus? And you came right back and he performed really well, and then he did it against a late replacement.
I'm going to say, first of all, when you take that first loss, you got to let the guy, you got to let him figure it out. So I didn't discuss the fight with him. We didn't watch the fight. It was a number of weeks before it ever came back around. So I kind of let him deal with that his own way. And I think pretty much his own way, unfortunately for a lot of guys, they do a lot of destructive things after a fight. That's when guys become the most vulnerable. He didn't do that. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't party. He's not chasing girls. He's not gambling because so we didn't have those issues that a lot of people will have. So pretty much, I just kind of watched him maybe eat too many cookies or this is probably what was going on. Maybe he, went out to dinner too many times or something like that. But, at a certain point, because he's an athlete, he doesn't feel comfortable with himself in that situation. So I didn't have to really jump on him about that. So I kind of let him deal with it his own way.
Like psychologically relaxed.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So I let him deal with it his own way, and then after that, when we got back started and we started doing it, to be honest with you, I can't. There can't be anyone more critical of him than me. So I go back and I watch the fight, and I just can't get the man the decision. I can't give the man the decision because here we are with boxing. It's called boxing. It's called fighting, prize fighting boxing, and I think in the first 7 rounds we were held 81 times. So there's no excuses to be made there, but in that particular situation, I can't jump on him about not being able to do things he was doing because the fouls that were created were not reprimanded by the referee. So in that sense, I'm like, I can't be like beating him down about something that's not happening. Okay, so moving forward, now what are we doing? The next fight and the one we just had against Bronner. We find ourselves preparing for people to hold us. We find ourselves preparing to get out of clinches and holds and breaks and things like that. Now, moving forward from this fight right here, he told me, well, I'm just too professional to do the things that they're doing. Well, Adrian Bronner is gloving him and pushing his head back and things like, and he's not reacting to that in the way that I want him to react to that. And what I need in that particular sense, and I know I'm off the subject just a little bit here, but what I need in that particular sense is I need you to let that other guy know that you're not going to allow him to injure you, because you can be injured if the thumb goes in your eye. The guy hits you this way and I slowed it down, and he hits you this way and the thumb is right here by the eye. So if you get thumbed and you lose the fight because you can't see because of a foul, it's not being stopped. So you can't allow that to happen. So, to come full circle, we didn't really have a problem refocusing to get ready for the next fight. And the preparation from that fight and fights moving forward from that was not, oh, Shawn doesn't know how to jab, or Shawn doesn't know how to throw the punches correctly, or his feet aren't right. It's mainly how are these guys going to stop us, and this is what they're going to do to stop us. So we've got to figure out how to deal with that part of it. We did against Adrian Bronner, against Paulie Malignaggi, and also against Devin Alexander. We out-jabbed all of those guys. But it's disguised by you looking at our physical appearance or our physical movements. So moving forward, we didn't really have a problem refocusing at all. But a lot of the things that we're preparing for now are not necessarily the punches that the people are throwing at us. That's not really what we're preparing for. Although we have to prepare for that. And to go back to the Kell Brook situation, immediately after the fight was over, we were dropped out of the top 20 of the IBF immediately, within 6 to 8 weeks. So obviously they didn't want us to have an opportunity to fight him. Since then, there was a title eliminator that he fought in. We weren't, in the conversation of that.